Rachel Scott, ABC News. Final push, the final few days, the home stretch of the New Hampshire First of the Nation presidential primary. Really, the next few days, we're going to find out what happens on Tuesday. Big voter turnout expected. Now, we have a chilly Saturday and weekend, but things get milder. And actually, voting day, Tuesday, and Governor Sununu is projecting a big voter turnout when he was on with us yesterday, near 40, in the 40s for a high, which is pretty balmy lately. Good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of NHJ Dog on the boards. We're going to hear what he and Josh with VSiN have to say about the playoff football games this weekend. A great distraction before the politics of Monday and Tuesday with the primary. We'll be broadcasting live from the West Wing at St. Anselm College in Manchester Institute of Politics Tuesday morning, and that night when the results come in with the best team of political analysts and all-stars anywhere by far, brought to you by Dennehy Boulay Group. We're going to get a quick hit, I believe, from Paul Steinhaus, who's traveling nationally for Fox News and for us, but we have a packed show for you. Good morning, New Hampshire. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of an H. More of you are streaming now, thousands each morning in our market and around the country on, of course, the apps or any way you want to get us. We got some great experts and analysts this morning, and including chairman of our Binney Media Group, Bill Binney, who knows a lot about New Hampshire voters and what may happen. He's going to join us in just a second here. We're going to hear from Neil Levesque at Institute of Politics. They're a busy place, but really New Hampshire, all the eyes are on New Hampshire. The big question is, hey, what's going to happen Tuesday? It certainly feels like Trump may have that edge, but is Nikki Haley able to gain among independents and undeclared? And will the turnout be so big that these polls, are the polls real or not? Some of the questions we'll break down. J-Dog, let's get right to it. I think we'll start with chairman of our media group, Bill Binney. Good morning, sir. How are you? Good, thanks. And yours. Bill, of course, former U.S. Senate candidate, Republican Party official, business leader. You know a lot about this stuff. And Bill, the question I'm asked, and I'm going to ask you, and you've mentioned it before on the show with me, Bill Binney, is the question on a Republican, largely Republican primary, because we know the Democrats is no real race there. Are independents going to turn out in big, big numbers in a primary versus a general election on Tuesday in the primary? What are your thoughts on, and you've endorsed Nikki Haley on this show and in general recently, made some news on that. But what are your thoughts looking at Tuesday when people ask you, Bill, what do you think's going to happen? It is great to see because it's the way it should be, and the Democrats I think blew it here nationally, the DNC. But Bill Binney, let me ask you this question: I think the conventional wisdom is Trump just doesn't seem to move from a number that may be enough in a contested Republican primary to win. But the thing that I keeps coming back in my mind, Bill Binney, is when I look back at past primaries, New Hampshire is very hard to predict. And voters here, they can't collectively all talk with each other, but it seems that as a collective block that New Hampshire always likes to send a surprise, rock the apple cart. You can't predict us. We're more independent than you think. And I've seen that in past primaries. George W. Bush thought he had a big win sitting in his hotel in Manchester when a guy named McCain clocked him. I can go back and point to surprises. Is there a chance of a surprise here? Could New Hampshire surprise even the polls and the pundits? Bill Binney, chairman of Binney Media. I just want to ask you, Bill, this question too. Governor Ron DeSantis called in yesterday morning, and I think you'd agree with me. When he came out of Florida with that reelection, before he got into the race officially, he was like the number one draft choice for the Republicans, even ahead of Trump. And then Trump got in the summer and really bashed DeSantis, and DeSantis got in. And I just thought he would have resonated with his story out of Florida a lot better with New Hampshire voters than he has here. And I asked him this yesterday. I want to know your take on that. Are you a little surprised? Is that so? Do you come from too big of a state? Was he too overmanaged? Was it a strategic thing? Was it a personality thing? Were you surprised at all in that? Yep. Yep. Yeah. 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 The surprising one because who would have thought? Hey, before I let you go, Bill, um, we have our own White House correspondent, John Decker. He's very good at this stuff, covers the White House. And I asked him as recently as yesterday. I, for one, and people are talking about the age of Biden and the age of Trump, but I, for one, have a hard time picturing Joe Biden really getting through the Democrats' convention, even though the DNC is choosing him again, they're anointing him again, they're propping him up. I just look at his stage and age in life and talk to younger voters, Democrat voters who just think he's too old, and the polls show that. So my question is, I say to John Decker, what are the chances of some surprise happening there, regardless if it's Trump again with Joe Biden? And he says, Jack, it's absolutely not happening. It's a lock. He's the nominee, and it's Trump and Biden again. Do you agree that Biden is absolutely the Democrats' nominee? Or do you think there could be a surprise by the convention or at the convention? Mhm. Well, I appreciate it. Bill Binney, thanks for your time on a busy Friday. Bill Binney, chairman of Binney Media. Love the take on the political stuff. You know this very, very well. Thank you, sir. All right. Hey, we're going to take a quick break. A lot going on. We're going to hear a little bit later on from the official ski area of Good Morning New Hampshire, the Pulse of an H. Tenny Mountain. Dan Egan's going to do a check in at top of the 11. Got some great analysis. We're going to hear from our favorite college out there, at least one of them, Neil Levesque at St. A's. He's on the perch. We'll be there live on Tuesday. Brought to you by Dennehy Belay Group from the West Wing Broadcasting in the morning, 9 to noon. And that night, we're going to have all the results coming in. And also coming up in a little bit, our own White House correspondent John Decker will be checking in. And we're going to even hear from our friends at Goodhue Boat Company on their boat club. Cody's checking in. And we'll take a quick break. J Dog on the boards. I'm excited to hear. I think we're going to do it in the 10 o'clock hour because we're stacked this morning. I love it when you and Josh at VSiN, you're going to look at the games this weekend. J Dog, I have to confess, I was in a Friday mood this morning. So I don't know if you know, I talked about Kelly Grip before, a good buddy of mine out there, Brian and Kelly Grip, great partners, sponsors, Bank of America, Brian. And Kelly is a really loyal Pittsburgh Steelers fan. Oh, she's off the charts. So you know what I did this morning? I was talking to them on something else, and they were together in this morning, before they headed off or whatever they do. I said, "Can you put me on speaker, Brian?" And I did. He did. And I said, "Hey, I'm looking at the 4 games this week, and I can't wait for J-Dog and Josh to do their picks with VSiN. I can't find the Steelers game anywhere scheduled this weekend. Are they playing this weekend, or are they out of the playoffs?" She threw something the phone right against the wall, broke a picture, I think. "Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play The Pulse of an Age." Back with Decker next. All right, I was mentioning, my first guest, Bill Benny, our next guest, our own White House correspondent, John Decker. John, I gotta tell you, you're a up and coming national, media, my opinion, leader and expert on this stuff, and you do a lot in the tennis world. I'm serious on that nationally, on the board of and all that. But I gotta tell you, John, all eyes are on Tuesday, final few days here. But I have to tell you, in grade school, I can't believe I'm doing my own show on a number of stations, thousands streaming, and I get to say on my own show, our own White House correspondent. You know what? How happy that makes me, John? Well, we'll see, and I gotta tell you that it feels like it's a Trump edge, John, but I it's the old you never know, and the thing that I've always seen is New Hampshire surprises people with the results, but the polls all show one thing. All right, John, let's get back to our stuff with you, John Decker, on White House correspondent, on this, busy final few day push here. John, take it away. What do you have? And what a dichotomy between states where they have to balance budgets and plan. This is how Washington operates. And the last thing I'll say to you, John, we had a wonderful group from Elon University in the studio the other day, political science and journalism majors, traveling to Iowa, traveling to New Hampshire, going to South Carolina, studying the real stuff out there. And when I talked to them about Washington, young 20-year-old students, they were incredibly informed, really great, inspirational group of young people, about 12 of them. They say that we just feel like they don't listen to us. We don't even know what Washington is as young people. We can't even figure out. It just seems like it's all bought and paid for. And that's the feeling. They like nothing happens. It's always the same and no one listens to us. I thought that said a lot. Yep. Our own White House correspondent, John Decker. Thank you, John. All right. A lot of stuff. And here we are on Friday. And I have to tell you, what I've seen in the past is all these, J Dog, it's funny that not funny, but it is ironic that we're going into these, the four playoff games this weekend. 2 tomorrow, 2 Sunday. Can't believe on that Sunday night is at 6:30 Chiefs Bills. Wow. I can't wait to what you and Josh at Vease and J Dog's playoff picks, what you have on that. But J Dog, just like an NFL contest. You look at that Lions game the other day, and then some of the games are blowouts. I think there's a very good analogy with professional football and professional politics where, you're into the final few minutes now of this game. If you think about it on the clock, with today and the weekend and really Monday's like movement day on the golf Saturday and PGA tournaments. They call that the movement day on the leaderboard. That's where things really change. And that it J-Doc, by Monday night, these candidates, I mean, I remember Bill Clinton when he ran in New Hampshire primary. On the eve of the primary, he was out in the snow campaigning, going to bowling alleys, diners, anyone who would talk to him. He said he couldn't sit in the hotel room. But the point is, even if that didn't change votes and he came in second and declared himself the comeback kid, is, really by Monday afternoon, Monday night, most people, they've been flooded with the ads. They've seen it. They've either met the old saying that people forget in New Hampshire's presidential primary, and some of the national media is on the, kind of new to the game. They don't remember the old line years ago that stood the test of time in New Hampshire is the average New Hampshire voter, because a lot of these CNN and some of the Newsweek, some of the national media, they've been talking to me about what's going to happen. And is, going through these things a few times, I'll say, New Hampshire, a lot of people say And I heard someone say this the other day. You know, I met Nikki Haley at an event, or I met Ron DeSantis, and then I met him again at another event, and then I met Trump at another event, and then I met Nikki Haley again, or I met DeSantis, and I'm still not sure. And like these people have met the candidate 4 or 5 times, and they're not sure, or they've made up their mind. In other states, you don't get to do this. You don't get to meet these people in a diner or a restaurant or a living room or an event and hear them in person. It's just basically they're protected. It's paid messaging, big money, and there's no intimacy. And this is what it should be. These people are running for the presidency of the United States of America, like it or not. That's what's on the table here. And you may think there's foregone conclusions, and you may think that, oh, New Hampshire doesn't matter. The Democrat National Committee certainly thought that when they ignored our primary, and they didn't know that we're going to have it anyway. And it's amazing that no one really seems to give a damn about but me. I care about real retail politicking. I've seen over the years when Donald Trump first ran in 2016, and they're in my studio, my show, and I'm talking to them. And during the commercial break, I said to a buddy the other day, I think one of the short books I have to write before my end of time physically on this planet is during the break. That's what I'm going to write, because during the break, some amazing stuff happens in my life. I don't know about yours, but I got these 4 or 5 minute breaks during the show, commercial breaks I'm talking about. And those are the conversations that are most illuminating. So I remember in the past with Trump in my studio in person when he was running, and no one took him seriously. And Hillary Clinton, when she would come in, or I'd do an interview with someone and they'd say, Jack, what's going on here? What's going on? What are the big issues? And I said, well, we got a fentanyl problem. I said that in 2016. Do you know that last year, 112,000 Americans died from a drug overdose? Number one cause of death for people under 40, a drug overdose. I was telling the candidates in 2016, and they said, we really weren't aware of that in places like New Hampshire, that the addiction rate was so high. They honestly didn't know. Now, you could say they should know, but they didn't know. They were in their bubble. And then I remember telling Trump about the veterans, how they were being sent out of state for procedures like an endoscopy that could be done right at a local hospital. Why aren't we working with the private and partnerships, and kind of blew up the VA bureaucracy? He had no idea. And he actually thanked me. He's like, thank you. And he started talking about it. These candidates come here and they learn. The voters not only learn from them, the candidates learn if they're smart people. I asked Ron DeSantis yesterday, what have you learned about New Hampshire voters? When these people go to events and someone stands up and say, Governor, or whoever they're asking, my son or daughter passed away from a drug overdose. They were just 16 years old. Usually, if that candidate's a human being, they're actually listening to the parent. Now, you can't assume that we know all this stuff, right? So the candidates become more educated. That's why we need the New Hampshire primary. That's why the Democrat and National Committee are managed by a bunch of buffoons, idiots, fools who don't give a damn. And the ultimate, not to get political, but I'm going to say it because someone has to with the national media hearing this, why they're not doing stories on the Democrat National Committee screwing over New Hampshire and sending a letter a week or two before the vote to Ray Buckley, the executive director of the Democrat Party in New Hampshire. Tell your Democrats, don't vote, do not participate in their own primary because it's detrimental to what we want. What the hell is that? If I was a leading Democrat, I'd say, take this letter and stuff it. It's like organized crime telling the business owner what day they're going to be open. And the Democrats talk about democracy and voting and earlier voting and same-day voting. But when it comes to electing their nominee, oh, no. They weren't going to let Bernie Sanders be the nominee the last two. No. They weren't going to let Pete Buttigieg. They weren't going to let Elizabeth Warren. They weren't going to let Bernie. Oh, no. We, the party bosses, we pick, not you. But just get in the pen when it comes to other elections and do as we say. But we pick. So don't vote in New Hampshire. Where's the national story on that? They want you to write in Joe Biden. I don't know about you, but I was out grocery shopping the other day at Hannaford, and I saw a bunch of people in the produce aisle really excited, Democrat voters jumping up and down to write in Joe Biden on Tuesday. They were ecstatic as they were getting their broccoli. Not. I'm just kidding on that. My point is, at least the Republicans, you may despise Donald Trump. You may just, you know what? He's working it. He's here. He's running. He's on the ballot. He's going out. Now, he may be talking more than he's listening, but he's working it. Nikki Haley's working it. DeSantis was working it. Ramaswamy was working it. And Joe Biden's sitting there. I'm just going to walk in again because I'm a little bit up there in my age. And I shouldn't have to go to a diner. Damn it. Don't they know who I am? I'm Joe Biden. Yeah, we know who you are. Unbelievable. So commentary. 603-228-2080 or hey Alexa, hey Google, play the Pulse of an Age. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards. Back with Landrigan, New Hampshire Union Leader, Senior Political Reporter next. All right. All right. We are, we are back. There we are. Kevin Landrigan, New Hampshire Union Leader, Senior Political Reporter. Doesn't mean he's any older. But Kevin, the primary must be on my mind because I have like visualized dreams, and I was in a dream the other night, and you were in the room walking by with a bunch of the national media people. So you're on my mind. Well, but yeah, thank God, thank God. Hey, one thing I want to say, Kevin, is you, unlike a lot of people, I actually listen when I have people on my show. And no offense to some hosts, I don't think they listen. They just one way. I listen. You said something a few weeks ago on a Friday. You said of all the years, because you've covered so many of these things, you're actually a wealth. You're one of the handful of the folks left, the real gemstones out there. They've seen just about everything and covered it, met these people. You were probably even there. That remember that year Cuomo from New York was going to come up and file, and he never came to New Hampshire. Um, yeah, you've been there. Phil Graham, McCain, you've been there. So here's my question: You said, and I'm beginning to think it goes into this Tuesday. It may be the difference. You said you've never seen a voting bloc support a candidate with the intensity and the loyalty and the froth, how ferocious Trump folks are behind Trump, no matter what, no matter how many legal cases, no matter what the story is, they're with Trump. They are motivated and they're going to vote. That was what you said a few weeks ago. Is that going to be the difference on Tuesday? But we heard from the governor. Hold on. We heard from the governor. He thinks as many as 350,000 or a little more could vote. Yeah. Well, when people ask you, Kevin, what do you think is going to happen Tuesday? Kevin, what do you think is going to happen Tuesday? Mhm. I know my good buddy. He'll be here Tuesday with us. Brad Card doesn't agree with me on this, and he was on with was it Dennehy or someone else yesterday? Kevin Landigan, New Hampshire leader, senior political reporter. And by the way, say hi to Brendan McQuaid. Well, I never talked to him anymore. I had his dad on recently on his book about his father in World War II, the home fires burning. But my point is on Brad. Uh, I'm noticing something. And it bugs the heck out of people like Brad. It bugs the heck out of people like, yeah, I even think Governor Sununu. But Nikki Haley's line about chaos follows Donald Trump. Chaos is Donald Trump. We all know that. Guess who else knows that? And they like it. Trump voters. Chaos is not a negative thing to them. I'm almost like I'm not involved in the business of messaging, but if you were gonna, no one knows how to. Well, let me just say this, right? But what I'm, but what Yeah, but the thing is, no one knows how to go at Trump. These Republicans, they don't know how to go at him. They don't know how to take him on. Chris Christie thought he did. DeSantis has tried. Nikki's tried. The thing on Donald Trump is He's good at finding your vulnerabilities. He nicknames people. They're afraid to nickname him. Who's ever had the audacity to nickname Donald Trump? Well, one of them should have tried it. But anyway, it's too late for that. I'm just thinking that chaos is not the negative on Donald Trump. It is for other voters, but they don't give a damn. Anyway, Kevin, the other thing is I wanted to just ask you is Ron DeSantis. I asked Bill Binney this earlier. What's your take? He was out with me yesterday. He's almost looking at South Carolina. He's almost going beyond New Hampshire. Why didn't DeSantis resonate better in New Hampshire? Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, he was. Thank you, thank you, thank you for finally saying what Phil Taub. Yep. Yeah. All right, Kevin, we got to let you go. Thank you very much, Kevin. Make it a good one. Enjoy the final few days. Thanks. Yep, yep. Now, we come back. I don't know if you caught this story. This is the stuff that matters, and someone needs to answer for this. Do you hear the story about the Haitian illegal immigrant? No one likes to say that word anymore. Illegal immigrant. Let me repeat it. Illegal immigrant, not migrant. Illegal immigrant charged with rape, released back onto the streets in Boston. You know, state of emergency, Boston. State of emergency, Governor Healy, despite ICE appeals. So you got the people responsible for keeping people safe, like the ICE agents, telling Boston, don't let this predator back on the streets. He's here illegally. He'll do it again. He was charged with raping a developmentally disabled person. Think of that. What kind of piece of you know what does that? And he was released back into the community in Boston. And they ignored the pleas from the Immigration and Customs Enforcement, known as ICE, to request to transfer him into their custody. He's here illegally, you morons. What is this? What is this? This is Boston, Massachusetts. You kidding me? Commentary 603-228-2080. Back with Michael Graham, New Hampshire Journal, a whole lot more. Top of the 10, we have a great expert. Well, first of all, we'll get a quick hit with Neil Levesque. We'll wait us on what he's seeing on Tuesday. The director, Institute of Politics, St. Anselm College, where we will be live all day, Tuesday and Tuesday evening, brought to you by Dennehy Belay Group. As the votes come in, we'll have the best analysts and all-stars anywhere. That's on Tuesday. Nice weather, milder weather, high will be in the low 40s on Tuesday, so no reason not to vote weather-wise. And we come back to Michael Graham, New Hampshire Journal, top of the 10. We got a packed show for you. Aaron Riel, NBC News Radio National correspondent, more of our great analysts. We're also going to be hearing from J Dog on some football games this weekend with Josh at VSiN. Got a packed show for you. Hey, Google, hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of NH. Back in a few. All right, we are back. Before we go to Mr. Graham, quick hit. Our own Paul Steinhauser reports nationally for Fox News. He's got stories. He's been doing this for months, making news here that the others follow, and he's been everywhere. He's shivered in Iowa. He's here. It's his home state. He lives in the same community with a U.S. senator and the governor, and he's looking at Tuesday. Paul Steinhauser, GM. Now, of course, we're with Sig Sauer. Take it away, Paul. All right. Thank you, Paul. Paul Steinhauser, nationally for Fox. Michael Graham, NHJournal.com. Couple of stories you're tracking, including what I was just talking about that in Boston. Good morning, Michael. But when I asked Governor Sununu about the schedule yesterday, he shot back. He said, "What? She's everywhere." Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, Michael, listen to some Garth Brooks. Have a great weekend. I'm coming at you. Um, no, no. I'm actually doing something that you should try once in a while: listening and thinking. No, no. I'm doing something you should try once in a while: listening and pondering and thinking. I'm going to give you an answer. Barely, low 40s. I think it's hard for Trump not to get at least 50, and I think Nikki Haley might get 41, 42. That's my answer. No, right, right, right. Yeah. All right, Michael. Love you. Be well. Listen to some Garth. Listen to some Garth this weekend. All right, Mike. NH Journal. Thank you, Michael. He doesn't like it when I snap back at him like that. He had a show in Boston once, but I'm just saying. Sometimes you got to listen, J Dog. Right? Sometimes you got to listen. What? No, just to listen. No, just listen. Think, listen. What do you mean? You don't know everything. Well, you might. Are you going to have some fun coming up in the next hour? J- Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that Ravens Houston game, you think the Texans have a chance? All right. All right. And do you think, because I won't get this in with you and Josh, you think Belichick's going to Atlanta? Really? He said he's got another interview. I hear Harbaugh's going to San Diego. I got a scoop on you. Well, you know what I mean, the former Chargers. All right. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of an H. J Dog on the boards. Jack Heath back in a moment.